Father of Texas. Tom?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You just remain standing for a moment of silence. The tragedy in Texas. Thank you. Okay, so that brings us to the superintendent's report.
Okay, and we have some very special guests here. I see Mr. Maxwell, you have some brownies in front of you. One of the highlights in our high school program is our enrollment class, and in particular, the coffee brew crew. This year, Senator Palumbo had phoned, his office phoned, and asked if we could host a valedictorian and salutatorian celebration at some of our schools for some of the local valedictorian and salutatorians. And one of the things we thought immediately was, well, if we're going to host, we need to provide some refreshments, and who better to go to than a local treasure of our high school. And so we turned to our coffee brew crew, and you're going to see some pictures in there, and I think it's just such a fitting way to celebrate that honor, having our own students come and be able to prepare something so special. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Meyer and distill it, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our coffee.
Good evening. So we are so excited to have our brew crew / breakfast crew / caterers here this evening. We have watched this program just kind of grow and thrive over the years, and in the course of a year, it's amazing what these young folks are doing. And, you know, Anthony had said, we bring the energy to the school, right, Anthony? And it's true, they're caffeinating all, and there is so much care and attention to everything they do each day. So we really wanted to share and celebrate all of their work this evening. So this is Mrs. Spillett. I'm going to turn it over to her.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Spillett. I am the high school transition teacher here at Seven Riches. And I'm going to share with you a slide that Dr. Meyer put together for us. So the coffee brew crew started about 6 years ago, I would say, at the start of our high school program. And all the proceeds benefit our high school transition program, and it gives back to the students within the classroom, which is really great. This program also provides vocational skills for our kids to succeed after they graduate high school. Throughout the program, there are so many different skills that the students are learning, from reading an Excel spreadsheet that is generated from a form that the teachers and staff and administrators submit their coffee orders or breakfast orders through. And then they have to write their orders. And then they have to, the students then read those orders, write them out on coffee cups. At the end of the week, they do the receiving and the invoicing, so there's math incorporated into it. And then there's the social piece when they are out delivering the coffee and going to each room or each office and delivering their coffee. This year we started the breakfast. So not only are we doing the beverages, but we're also doing breakfast. I forgot about that slide, but it's just some of the beverages that we offer. But we started the breakfast brew crew. We kind of expanded this year. It's definitely been a challenge fitting it all in to our daily routine. But the kids, I really wanted a way that we could take our life skills cooking class and provide that to our school community as well. So we have been really well known for our extra large cookies that you guys enjoyed, boards enjoyed in the beginning of the school year. When they smell the baking throughout the school, the kids and the staff come running. We sell probably on average about 20 items a day through the brew crew. We have things like the chocolate chip cookies and oatmeal raisin cookies and muffins. This winter we started egg bites. We're kind of mimicking the Starbucks egg bites. They're really delicious. We also offer oatmeal, so the kids are learning how to also cook the oatmeal, prepare that. And we just recently started brownies, which has been a really big seller. So that's why you have the brownies. These are the kids who were part of the DEI program this year. We went into the DEI class and presented during April when they were celebrating their diversity. Diversity or disabilities.
No place for me.
No place for me.
That's a good place for me.
And we went into the classroom and gave each student a cookie that they had chosen, an oatmeal cookie or a chocolate chip cookie. In preparation for the Val Sal luncheon, we had a big task that we had to take care of beforehand, which was taking all the books and moving them among the shelves. We actually, it was a very large project that we got done alongside all of our other jobs. And the kids are there pictured cleaning the shelves. The biggest challenge for that, and the boys will attest to, was keeping the books in order. In spread A's, we needed to keep the books in order so that they didn't get out of reference. They did really well though, and the kids do really well with that paper as well. And then this is our Val Sal luncheon that we hosted. We set up. Dr. Meyer and I were here that morning setting up, and then the kids arrived, and the kids helped cut and prepare all of the vegetables and fruit, and we prepared the iced tea and the lemonade, and we also set up the coffee station, and we baked 130 cookies for the luncheon.
So I'm just going to jump in because we had Assemblyman Theo, Assemblyman Giglio, Senator Palumbo, and valedictorians, salutatorians, their families from 5 different school districts. Because it wasn't even, it was the cleaning of the library, because we're trying to change this library into more of a 21st century learning space. And you guys really worked hard to help us to achieve that. And then to kind of clear everything out, and then prepare everything, set everything up. It really made for a successful event, and it was absolutely a big success, mostly because of the work of this wonderful group of students. So thank you so much for your efforts to make us shine in Center Francis.
Senator Palumbo's secretary, I think it was a woman. She approached me and she said that this is the best Val Sal luncheon that she's ever seen.
Absolutely. And so there you see Katie Roberts and Alyssa Morano, our valedictorian and salutatorian at Center Francis, so we would congratulate them. We're so proud of their achievements. And as proud as we are of what they have achieved in their scholastic careers, we are so proud of the work that you all are doing to support us here in Center Francis as well. So thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we have a couple other presentations, so if you guys want to stay, they can stay, or want to go. Thank you so much for being here. We can't thank you enough for everything.
It was our pleasure. Yeah. Okay, say I'm your best.
I honestly, it was.
I look awesome. The pictures
That
are
was
like
fabulous, and they, you know, they would be a wonderful addition to.
yeah, and they work. Yeah, that's great.
So we do have another presentation that I think is a wonderful presentation. I think, you know, we talked, we did a moment of silence at the start of this. And, you know,
Additionally, we have a health and wellness committee. On that committee, Mrs. Kavanaugh and Mrs. Richard are an active part of that, and they have developed the social emotional learning continuum. So we're here tonight again to kind of share the work that was accomplished as a result of writing those plans and what our future plans are for. So as a leadership team, our administrators continually strive to meet and exceed our goals set by the Summeridge's Board of Education. The comprehensive guidance plan and the social emotional learning continuum really target goals 3, 4, and 5, and that is students as self-directed learners, including creating a positive school culture and climate, focus on individualized education and an upward trajectory of student performance and achievement, communication and community engagement, so to increase our communication with the community about the work that is being done, we have put these 2 plans together, and the social emotional learning and diversity, equity, inclusion goal, again, enhancing school culture, screening and supporting social emotional wellness. At Summeridge's, our educators ensure that these goals are central to all learning experiences that we plan and implement for our students. So we are an IB district, and as we embark on these journeys, we try to relate them to the learner profile that we hold all our students to that standard, as well as our administrative team. So again, tonight's efforts are to be communicators of the work that we do and to show the balance between the 3 domains that are a part of the guidance plan, and those domains will be explained in a bit. So here are our objectives for the evening. We'll go through the plans, we'll illustrate the services in each building, and we will turn it over now to Mrs. Fabian to give a little bit more information about the guidance plan. I can be the quicker.
Great. That makes me nervous. Good with counseling, feelings of ground, technology. All right. So our team, I'm really so proud of this plan. For years, I said to all of us together, even before I was an administrator, that as a team, we do so much. And I just felt like we never packaged it the right way to the community or advertised it. And this plan really highlights all the work that we do together as a team for the 16 years that I've been here. And I'm really proud of all the work that's been put into this plan. So school counselors design and deliver school counseling programs that improve outcomes for our students. The American School Counselors Association, the national model, there's a framework for school counseling programs. It outlines the components of the school counseling program that's important to the school's academic mission and is created to have a significant positive impact on student achievement, attendance, and discipline. One of my favorites lately. All right. So the national model, again, it basically designs a program that's data informed so that we know that we're using systems and programs that help us improve our decision making. It helps us deliver our program to our students in a systematic way. Every student's kind of receiving the same service. Includes a development of appropriate curriculum focused on the mindsets and behaviors of students. So when Mr. Mack's meeting with our students in our 811 program, he's cognizant of the needs for those students. This program, it closes achievement gaps and opportunity gaps. So that means that we're looking at our students' backgrounds, where they come from, if that's impacting any ability or creating any barriers to their success. And basically the results that we want is to improve overall student achievement, attendance, and discipline, which I work on a lot in the notes. Great. Apply within the plan, and it helps me in my communication to parents when they're asking me, what can I do? What is the counselor doing? What are you doing as a building administrator? So I feel like this is a really important part of the plan because it just highlights our partnership that we have in student achievement. So this New York State Part 100 regulations basically just outline that schools work together collaboratively to develop a comprehensive guidance plan that focuses on the 3 domains of school counseling. So these domains are academic, career post-secondary, and personal and social. We'll get a little bit more into them through each of the counselors as they present, but basically, in academic, the standards guiding school counseling programs must implement strategies and activities to support and maximize the student's learning ability. The career and post-secondary, the focus is understanding the connection between school and your future work, making a plan for a successful transition from work to real life one day, any post-secondary plans you have, and the personal and social standards for guiding school counseling programs to help students manage emotions and learn and apply their interpersonal skills that they're learning at each developmental level. So now I'm just going to highlight a little bit more what this looks like in each building. So at Clayton Huey, this year, for the first time, we've contracted with BOCES, and we have Miss Lauren Zambelli coming in, and she's working with our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classrooms. I felt like this little Lego illustration really highlights like the work that she's doing at that level, because she's helping them build their brighter futures and learn the skills that they need to gain those futures. So some of the things that are focused on down in the elementary school are recognizing your feelings, how to manage those feelings, engaging in healthy friendships, understanding the difference between a healthy friendship and an unhealthy friendship, developing coping skills, resolving conflicts, and how to be a positive community contributor. So that's happening in the elementary school. She gets into those classrooms about twice a month, and it's been a great resource. A lot of the feedback from the teachers has been very positive. Okay. So obviously I'm not Mr. Peppy, he couldn't be here tonight. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the work that he does in the middle school to help our students transition. So many of you guys have had 6th graders. I remember the first time I went to Mr. Pepe's orientation for 6th grade parents and feeling like that as a parent and as a professional too, it was probably one of the best evenings that I've attended. I learned so much from him, and I had, my oldest son was transitioning into middle school at the time. And I said to Dr. Reggio, I was like, oh my goodness, like that was so helpful for me right now in my life, you know? So Mr. Pepe is retiring. I don't know if many of you guys know that. He is,
Yeah, he's like a quarter third of the middle. He's gonna be very hard to replace. We are starting our interviews after Memorial Day. But he's definitely been a pillar at the, he was there when the middle school was formed. And that is an integral part of the team, so he will definitely be hard to replace.
he really is a mentor, like in every capacity, like from a colleague to a counselor for our students, Melissa and I. He's
Out on the athletic field.
Yeah. The high school students sometimes come down and knock and want to see if he could look at their ankle. So, but he just creates this open door atmosphere for all staff, and it's something that is going to be truly missed in the middle school. And you know, for the 6th graders, again, his focus with them on their transition to middle school is all about like building a foundation for academic success. What are those skills that you need? One of the best books that he introduced to me, and he uses this language daily, is Your Healthy Habits, and how those like if you build these core habits, how that's going to help you moving on in life. He works with the 6th grade team with career planning for the students. He does a lot of work through CSEs and special education, helping students plan each year so that they can have academic success. So he visits classrooms regularly. In 7th grade, he starts the conversation more focused on career exploration, and we're happy to say that in the middle school for the first time this year too, he began working with Nadia, and he is helping students understand truly in deeper conversations for the first time how their work in school is connected to their future. You come to school so that you can build a future. And he does a lot of comprehensive activities with career planning. And he really focuses too on our work like with students at that time, like building their social skills. 7th grade, you know, is a tough year, and a lot of students need help like with some behavioral management, academic management, and like social and emotional management. So he does a great job with that. And then in 8th grade, okay, so he continues that focus on the academic success with students. Again, he's attending annual reviews, helping our special education students plan for their futures. A lot of times at an annual review, if you've ever been to one for an 8th grader, he'll present their career plan that the 8th grader themselves made. And then we try to like align their IEP goals and future initiatives like with that plan that he's designed with them. So he does a lot of great work with our students. And again, he's involved in all of our team meetings, child studies team meetings, everything like that. So now, I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Matt. Yeah, wherever you're comfortable. And he's gonna talk a little bit about that academic domain that we talked about earlier in the presentation.
Good evening. So I'm going to start with four main things as far as the academic pieces go. The first one being advocacy, program planning in terms of regents, honors, specials. Again, for us, we are major partners with parents, we're major partners with kids, but for the most part, we're advocates. We're advocates for the school, we're advocates for the kids. So our focus academically is how do we best advocate for the kid in terms of what levels they're going and what courses they're going to need and where they're going to be successful. Part of that also goes into the counseling piece, so reviewing impacts of absences, so discussing students that might be truant a lot, really relating to them and their parents. I made a phone call today, I have a meeting on Tuesday, for 3 of my kids. So we're really working on really getting the parents and the kids involved and understanding the importance of the attendance and how that correlates to a student's success. Teaching problem-solving skills and collaborating using various resources. So some of the resources that we use would be progress reports. So we'll meet with the student and discuss progress reports. The parent portal is fantastic, and a lot of parents that get on are great and they love it. But we do still have, some parents that, that are on the computer all day, so they never get around to getting to the portal, or they're really just not computer savvy. So we tend to, again, work with the parents and say, hey, look, you know what? Let the kid come down, we'll get the progress report done, once a week, once every 2 weeks, for a couple of weeks just to get them back on track, okay? So those are sort of the things that we do academically. As far as extra help, again, today, helping a student set up for the rest of the year, Monday you're gonna go to math, Tuesday you're gonna go to English, extra help, and just getting that stuff going. They're right there. We have so many kids that are just literally right there, just need that little bit of extra. And tutoring. Some of our honor societies, the students have to do tutoring time, so that kind of, again, it's a partnership. So we'll, reach out to the heads of the honor society, science honor society, math honor society. Can I have a kid that, work with one of my students in geometry, work with one of my kids in earth science, get them, get them caught up with labs and things like that. So again, that partnership really works well. Interpretation, monitoring academic records as it correlates to college success. So again, obviously we do have the IB program. One of the things that we work with, again, with parents is really explaining the, the impact of the IB program. We're very data driven, so a lot of the information that we give them is based on data. 95% of the students that complete an IB program will graduate college in 4 years or less because they're coming in with the IB credits. So that's a positive thing. But also helping the parents understand, you could take one IB class, you could take a full IB program. So we want them to have the information and then make what best assessment they can for their child. The APs, a lot of times some parents will question, well, if they don't do well on the AP exam, they won't get to college credit. But again, we're data driven. The data shows students who have a score of 1 or 2 on an AP exam also has a much better transition into college. They do much better. So again, just having the rigors of 1 AP class or 2 AP classes will make a difference. It's not about the AP score or getting those 3 credits, but it's about the rigor and being able to thrust themselves into something, one, that they enjoy, a subject matter that they like, but also understanding what that impact can be on a college level. So it's all about preparation. And lastly, development. Again, to kind of piggyback with the IB program, teaching our students to be independent learners. It's not the easiest thing in the world. They don't always want to do these things, but we want them to be independent. We want to know what they think. We want to know what impact they plan to make. Not just what we want to give them content-wise, but what content do they need from us. So I think that's super important. And lastly, being critical thinkers. That's the goal. We want our kids to be critical thinkers. So we work again in a partnership with the parents and the student to help them become critical thinkers. Good.
Hi, everyone. So somebody once told me not to put too many words on a slide. So I'm just going with some pictures and a story. And I've known most of you as parents, and we've spoken on the phone, over the years. And I do feel like my role in the building and our role, something that not necessarily might not be written out in our guidance plan, is the balance of our department and how we all work together and really collaborate on the different pieces of this together. So while Mr. Mack is really passionate about some things, like maybe not so much, and we kind of are able to work together, which makes our department so much more cohesive. Lisa has 30 years of experience here and can tell us families of families and students of students and parents of students and be able to knit these stories together. And I really do feel that in the post-secondary planning of our students, every student has a story, and in Center Riches, in such a small community, we really start that stories from middle school on. And as we get to know all of our families, we get to expose our students to all different programs. So we have, and it really takes knowing the student and knowing what their story is going to unfold like, what their coursework is going to be, what their drive really is, what their carrot is to get them through. And I think knowing our students, knowing our families, knowing our teachers, how our teachers are going to help respond to some of the students is such a critical part of our job as well. So we do have Naviance, which we are able to push into classrooms. Our English and social studies teachers are always so psyched. I like to take that role and say, who wants us to come in and do a Naviance presentation? And everybody loves for us to come in and take over the class for a little bit and be able to collaborate with us and really partner to go through a career interest inventory, and then maybe on a different grade level be able to push in and work on college applications and going through scholarships this past spring and all the different things that we can really collaborate with in terms of offerings that we have. Not only do we have Naviance for career and college readiness, but we also this year, I'd love to make notice of how many students we are sending to BOCES this year, which is so amazing. I mean, we're just flabbergasted, and we're just, we cannot wait to be able to inform all these students of really the opportunity that they will have going forward. I know that's been a mission of the board for years, and I'm so happy to actually see it come to fruition for the fall. So I think that will be a huge piece moving forward in terms of an opportunity that the students will have. And really just finding their path, every student finding their own path. And, I always say the more I know about the student and the family, the more I can help them. And I think that goes for all of us. The more we know about them, the more we can help. Some students come in and it could be Lisa's student, and I know probably just as much as Lisa about the student because they come in so often, and they'll, we'll piggyback, or, one of my boys will go talk to Mr. Mack, and, I'll take some of his girls. It really is such a small, close-knit office that really learning our students and your children has been, it's really, we always say we're so lucky to have our jobs and really to be able to do what we do because, it's just such a great opportunity to work with the family, not just for one year where you have one course, but you really get to see the growth over the 4 years. And I think in post-secondary planning, that's really what we're looking at. We're looking at the growth, from the middle school all the way up. And our upcoming graduation would be a beautiful demonstration of kind of all the work that they've done over the last 4 years. See, no words, so you didn't know when I was going to stop. So now we'll get back to this session. Thank you so much, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. So I think that sometimes our role as guidance counselors is very hard to describe, and unless you sit in our office or stand in our office, you really don't know what we do, which is why when Courtney put together and Dr. Meyer put together the guidance plan, to us it seems like, well, we've been doing this forever, but it does at least pinpoint, what we do. And the thing is when a student comes into our office, I think it is very different in our guidance office than it is in a lot of schools because, first of all, it is a little bit small, as we all know. But it's almost like as soon as a student comes in, whether it's a question, just information, something really heavy duty, they're sort of just welcomed in first by the secretaries, but we're all right there. And so what I and we all appreciate is how it could be something so simple, like they might have a question, like I'm thinking of a student that came in yesterday and the question was about the college essay. But again, it's not just about a college essay. We have to get into the whole personal and social development of this person. So the questions would be to the student, well, what's really good about yourself? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? And you start to really go into, well, who are you? You know, it's not just, okay, all right, so let's talk about the college essay. Okay, this is how you should write this college essay. It really, you know, we do know our kids, we do have really good caseload sizes, so it does enable us to really get to know students and their families. And what's important for us to do with students is teach them how to navigate, okay, well, you're having a difficult time, say, with your teacher, okay? So what are the things that you can do in order to establish and develop that relationship? So it is really important for us because, you know, a teacher might see a student as just, you know, I'm your science teacher and this is my student, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. But this is where we can come in and help that student advocate for themselves. We can talk to a parent. We can, you know, bring that student to that teacher and say, these are the difficulties they're having. So we're sort of like that common person that can get involved with that child to really bring everything together. And that's really how we see our jobs. In the past, we've run groups. It's been a little bit difficult with COVID and also with rooms, utilization, all of that. But that's something that I know I really love to do. I usually have had girls groups. This year, I actually was able to do a really good webinar with about 15 girls, and it was all about grit and how to work really hard and be yourself, work the hardest for what you want. So that's something that we really strive to do if we can. And again, we're sort of the first person usually that a student might think to go to. So a lot of times our students might overlap with Kelly Kavanaugh or a school psychologist, but at least they know they can come. I'd like to think that they really feel they can come to the guidance office, whether it's a problem, whether they're really happy, whether they're really sad, whether they're having a problem with the teacher, whether they don't know where to go. We'd like to say that we're the office to go to for any question, and then it always develops into something else. Again, with discipline, with attendance, you know, we're involved with Ms. Mangoni with all of that. So that's how we see ourselves, sort of like the first line of defense. And like Ms. Marino said, we love our jobs, and we're really fortunate to be able to have those kind of relationships with parents and your children. So, I think that's it. Thank you.
So building off of that social emotional piece that we just spoke about, as we reflect on the strengths and challenges that have been identified in the analysis of our peer survey, as we continue to work with our teachers and students, we believe that it's vital to share how we really focus on the social emotional learning continuum with the community. So we've entitled the Continuum an Educational Community, Empowering All Students' Health and Wellness, and believe that the experiences that are a part of what we do at Seven Riches is what is truly best for addressing the strengths and challenges of all of our students.
Okay, so we just want to talk about a couple of the initiatives throughout the district that basically help our social emotional continuum. So we have our IB learner profile. Again, that's kind of becoming like our backbone, that character profile trait. I'm sure many of you guys have seen the listing of that. We teach that and we celebrate good character in all the buildings. I know Mrs. Kavanaugh and Mrs. Richardson are doing character push-ins. that highlight each trait. Each building focuses on an attribute for the month. And then we talk about being inquirers, knowledgeable, thinkers, communicators, principled, open-minded, caring, risk-takers, balanced, and reflective. Through CARE, we have been giving our students an opportunity to provide us a self-report and some tools on their development. This holistic student assessment provides us with a portrait of the unique challenges and strengths for each student and for the groups of students. We use this data to inform our practices in providing the SEL services and learning experiences for our students. We have No Place for Hate, and that's an anti-defamation lead program that we've committed to in all 3 buildings this year. I know in the secondary campus that Mrs. Marino and Mr. Galati have been very instrumental in implementing this. And they basically have helped our students engage in some discussion and active learning activities where we are examining identities, reflecting on biased behavior, learning new ways to change biases, and better ourselves within our own society. We have our E&L parent program as well. We talked about this the other night at the scope board when we were with Mrs. Lipstein, and Amy and I agreed that there is no place on this earth, no school that is doing a better job at serving our E&L community. Yes, Mrs. Lipstein is the mama to all of these kids and helping these parents integrate into our community, feel comfortable here, know how to access resources and work with like the staff here. I think all of us would attest to the huge contribution she has made to this program. We couldn't do it without her. So that's super special to us in Center Riches. And I'm gonna invite Mrs. Richards up to talk a bit. I'm gonna click the right button. This makes me really nervous. All right. To talk a little bit about some of the initiatives in the elementary school.
Hey everyone, how are you? Good evening. So when I was coming in and wanting to talk or asked to speak about some of the initiatives that we have here, suddenly today, after the events of yesterday, that changed. The presentation or the conversation that I wanted to share with you changed because of that. So part of what my role here is to make sure that I'm providing social and emotional learning to every single student in the building, which we have a really unique program here. I can't say that any other school does it like us. I literally know every child within Clayton Huey School District from grades K all the way up to 5. That means as I walk through the building, kids are saying, "Hi, Miss Richard, how are you?" If they have hard feelings or they're having a hard day and I walk in or I have to have a hard discussion with them because something really difficult in their life occurred, they already know who I am. So the connection is there and it's easy to have. And so because I push in and do Harmony SEL lessons and Pin Bills for Peace and Unity Day, and I pushed in for Erin's Law, which my main purpose in going in with Erin's Law was to discuss with them the many different ways that we teach them about how to keep themselves safe. And I have to say that here in this district, we have addressed, like when I walked in, the first question I had for them is, what do you know about safety? Every child was able to share what they knew about fire safety, stranger danger, how to keep themselves safe in the case where there was a school shooting, and guess what happened yesterday? Our kids would be prepared for that. And so was I, because when we had a student or a classroom today that needed support, I was able to easily walk in, refer back to the lesson I just had with them and say, what is the school's #1 role here? What is the main job that we have? What can we ensure for you? And the answer was your safety. And so we were really able to help. I don't want to say necessarily even minimize, but we were able to help our students feel safe and refocus on what they needed to do in the learning environment for today. Now, if we didn't have a program where I was able to say, walk into every class, the kids knew me. Today, in the hallways, I made sure I was on. As soon as they were coming in, hello, how are you? And so is every teacher and every other staff member. But it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference when we have to deal with something as significant as what we had to deal with today. Because being an adult is hard, but being a child or an adolescent is so much harder. So when they know who their school champions are, they know where to go to and who to go to for those things. The other thing that I wanted to add about the programs that we're doing here is it also helps us build a sense of community. And the community isn't just like per each grade level, it's interlocked through all the grades, through all the staff. And so social emotional learning isn't just my particular role, it's something that I'm here and I'm doing within the school district, but it's something that everyone in the district is practicing, because unfortunately, our children over the past several years are being faced with challenges that we've never even experienced before. And so we're all learning together. And so I think that is the most important thing that I share about what my role is at Clayton Huey and the importance of our social emotional learning program. It's the programs, but more importantly, it's the presence. So if anyone has any questions for me or anything, you're always welcome to reach out to me. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Kelly, Mrs. Kavanaugh is going to discuss a little bit about the middle school and high school as well.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for having me and also for having me work on the Health and Wellness Committee, which I enjoy, and being part of the brochure. It's been wonderful. I have to say that I would like to highlight a few of the programs that we are doing in the middle school and in the high school and how they overlapped. And I just want to start by saying with what Lauren said, we have seen so many challenges since COVID, and especially with what happened yesterday. And like you made a very good point about being present and how things can change on a dime. Today, I actually went into Mr. Velati's class to do part 4 of the Aaron's Law lesson on internet safety. And I felt like the kids really wanted to talk about what happened yesterday. And I was able to take 5 minutes out to talk about what happened and their feelings and just for them to reflect on it. And it was really a perfect opportunity, being that I'm pushing into the classes, to be able to connect to the kids in that way. And like you were saying also about connecting to all of the kids, I feel like especially this year with all the social emotional programs we're doing, I'm really getting to know all of the students, the 6th grade, the 7th grade, the 8th grade, and the high school students as well, because I also work with the high school students. And just getting to know them, like my goal is by the end of the year to know all of their names. But I feel like I'm getting, and the kids, I'm building rapport with them and they're coming to me with problems, and all because of these programs that we're doing. They're learning who we are. I always like to tell the kids when they first come in what my role is. Do you know what a social worker is? And many of the kids will say no, they don't know. So to be able to explain to them what I am and what my role is, and that my room is your room, and you're always welcome to come to my room. And believe me, they're coming. So I just wanted to highlight some of the programs that we're doing, and I'll start with the middle school. One of the things that I'll piggyback off what Courtney was saying was the IB learner character trait, which has been very successful, doing the monthly push-ins for the character word of the month. And it's been I think it's had a very good impact on many of the students. And just to give you a quick example of that, one time I had a student come into my room who was stressed out over all of the homework and just their after school activities and just not having enough time for themselves. So I said, remember when I pushed in last month and talked about balance? And they said, oh yeah, I remember that. So I was able to relate with the character ed lesson to that student's problem that they were experiencing at that time. So I like to think that the kids are learning not just the trait, but how to generalize it, okay? And how to make not just themselves better people, but also to bring good things to society, because ultimately that's what we want, for them to bring those character traits to society. So we also wanted to highlight the Beautiful Me program, which is a program that we just started doing in the spring. The Beautiful Me program focuses on building girls' self-esteem, lifting them, have girls lifting up other girls, the development of positive self-image, being assertive, which I feel many kids in the middle school sometimes have problems with being assertive. The importance of being beautiful, not just on the outside beauty, but also because of social media, we're so focused on the outside beauty, but also what are your beautiful traits? What's inside of you that makes you beautiful? And one of the positive impacts that I love about the Beautiful Me is seeing shy girls, because I like to take girls who are less assertive and shy, opening up, smiling, and being complimentary towards each other, okay, which is not something you typically see. So, and also developing new friendships. So that's a great thing about the Beautiful Me program that we're doing. And that usually takes place in the spring with the middle school. Also, what you had mentioned, I just wanted to bring up Aaron's Law. Aaron's Law is new to our health and wellness curriculum, in which I'm pushing into 6th, 7th, and 8th grade classes to do age-appropriate lessons on healthy relationships, most importantly, but also identifying and preventing child sexual abuse and exploitation, with the focus being on what to do. Who do I go to if something is happening to me that I'm not comfortable with, okay? So in terms of that, positive impact with that would be developing new relationships with the students where they feel comfortable that, hey, Mrs. Kavanaugh or Mrs. Trujillo or Mrs. Fabian is somebody that I can go to if something's happening, or my parent. So just letting them know if this is happening, like with Erin Marin, who started this legislation for this law back in 2009, now New York has adopted it in 2019, and now we're implementing in the schools. Students will now know, oh, I do have someone I can talk to. I should open up and say something if something bad is happening to me. So this is just a few of the highlights that we're doing in the middle school. Did you want to go to the high school? Yeah. Oh, okay. So quite similar to the Beautiful Me program, we're also doing the butterfly effect with Ms. Hessian, which also includes middle school girls as well, but it's also for the high school girls, and it's a 6-week empowerment program. And the goal of the butterfly effect is to give girls the tools to achieve emotional stability, build self-confident futures, and bring forth a generation of very strong, independent, and powerful women. The key areas of focus are relationship development, self-care, confidence building, and critical thinking. And this is, we're going into our 6th week now with the program. We have, I want to say, I don't want to call it a peer leader, but she's she's about 25.
Right, she comes
She
into
comes
our
in.
school every other week and
Mhm.
works with the students that we chose, and the girls love it.
Yeah, they're really, really enjoying it. So it's like part 2 of the butterfly project. So my goal for next year, 22-23, is the butterfly project also does an empowerment program for boys. So that's on the agenda for next year, okay? In terms of, SEL assemblies we've done, last year we had Mark, or 2 years ago, we had Mark Merrow, a motivational speaker. We had Nick Toppin this year from Deadliest Catch. Basically, the goal is to inspire and motivate the students while teaching them how to commit to healthy lifestyles and build positive habits. So for me, the positive impact was just seeing the kids like getting excited and raising their hand and participating and being a part of it. So I think that's very good for their social emotional learning as well. Combined, I also this year was seeing a lot of teachers come to me stressed out. No, we're not that. Stressed, I'm sorry. Teachers were very, very stressed out due to just COVID and the stresses of the remote learning coming to me. So I thought, you know what, let me do something for them. So we created Workplace Wellness, which is an after-school, once a month, we'll do a fun activity with the staff. We did scarf making, we do walks, we did cookie baking, we did
Gourmet popcorn.
gourmet popcorn, right. Just fun activities for the staff, and I got a lot of positive feedback from saying, wow, this is great. were able to relax and just kind of unwind and
Meditation.
oh, we did Reiki, just my friend came in and we did Reiki. So that's something that we also do, and of course, the club and group crew have come together to do the mugs, the mindful mugs, right? To do, where people can have a cup of coffee in the morning for free, and the high school come in, relax, kind of meditate if they want. So again, we've done wonderful things. The focus for next year is going to be programs and activities for parents. That's my goal, like doing parent academies, universities, for the parents to get involved, and working on the boys. So that's it,
I
okay?
should also interject that where Mrs. Kavanaugh was running around like a chicken without a head. And what she didn't add in there is that she also can regularly collect a copay for probably all of us. Out of the district. So sometimes when it's closer, I'm like, what are we doing? Because I need you for like 10 minutes before we go back. So she really is jack of all trades.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
So as you can see, we have a very passionate and dedicated team, and I really want to thank you for, at the start of Memorial Day weekend, coming to the board to present your work. It means so much to us to be able to communicate all of your hard work. We look forward to continuing this work and the enhancements. And so the two documents that we've been referencing, the plan is moving forward. Each year, we will, in the spring, sit down with the documents and use it as a point of reflection to add in the butterfly effect for gentlemen and do, all of the enhancements across the programs. So thank you very much.
So we certainly want to thank you as a Board of Ed for all of the work that you're doing on a daily basis and being there in times of challenge for our students and our staff as well. So we greatly appreciate that. You said it was a comprehensive guidance plan you're working. It is 50 pages of comprehensive plan. So we do appreciate all the time you're putting in and how gracious you are to come here tonight. I know you have off tomorrow, so.
You should give them the next 2 as well.
Yeah, you know what? Come back to me. But we really do appreciate that, and we just wanted you to know that. So thank you very much, and thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Go start your weekend.
All right. Okay, can we keep going? I got more. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend. And we will hope to weekend. All right.
Believe it or not, we're still in the superintendent's report.
Yeah, that's a report, but a lot of really good stuff. Some other things to celebrate of note. Number one, both of the propositions, just a shout out, thanks to our community for passing both of the propositions, the budget proposition as well as our capital reserve. I think both of these set us up for success for the coming school year and the future moving forward, as there is much capital work that needs to be addressed. This will be a way to fund sort of that bank account to address some of those things that really need to be done in terms of capital projects. The other, a couple other things I would point out, in terms of celebrating some success, we have one-on championships upcoming for both our girls lacrosse team and our boys baseball team. Really exciting news, to see them competing out there. I did get a chance to get out to Nantucket yesterday, and it was just, got the dog pile on film and got to see it. So it was really an exciting moment. So we wish them luck moving forward. We did have success in girls softball and boys lacrosse that both made it to the finals of the county championships. Unfortunately, we fell a little short there, but we'll come back next year strong and fight for a county championship. All of our spring teams, we should note, actually are scholar athlete teams. So they're getting it done on the field and they're getting it done in the classroom. So something to really be proud of there. So congratulations to all our student athletes who are doing just some really amazing work out there. As far as our committees go, our curriculum and instruction committee has met. I think you can see there's lots of work happening there. Dr. Meyer is really getting a lot done. One of the things that wasn't mentioned today was the the PYP consultation visit, our consultant came in and had a chance to meet with her myself as well as the team, and really making just fantastic progress toward a primary use program authorization of Clayton Huey. In addition, Clayton Huey also put out their mission statement of essential agreements, got feedback from the community, which I thought was a fantastic gesture on their part to get actually parental feedback on some things that will really make a difference in the building. So really good stuff. And those are some of the things that also are a part of the International Baccalaureate, and certainly can move more toward process toward authorization. Obviously the committee recommends the adoption of the comprehensive guidance plan, and has certainly put a lot of work into that. So I thank you guys for your work on that. I really think it does capture a lot of the great things we do. Well, can't say all because we can never capture all because there's always stuff that goes above and beyond, but certainly a wonderful document and great work from the team on that. As far as the DEI committee goes, Dr. Ricardo has been really doing a lot of great work there, looking at revising the equity education plan for the 22-23 school year, and that preliminary draft has been created. So thank you for your work there, Dr. Soto, and we anticipate having that to the board for June 9th and perhaps adoption of the June 15th meeting. The Emergency Preparedness Committee has also been busy. Scholarship came in. That is the company that makes the student IDs, and he basically did a presentation to talk about how that could play into our student management system and enhance safety and security for our school. Our school safety plans for 22-23 are being reviewed. Those are done on an annual basis as we reflect clearly when events take place. Mr. Spiller, thank you for your work in terms of providing some feedback to us in terms of our school safety plans. We constantly need to review those things and make recommendations and changes so that we can keep the most secure environment we can for our kids. As far as the facilities, they will be meeting. Again, I said the capital reserve was passed, so we will be progressing. We have talked about the need for some bigger capital project work. So, the committee is now discussing a capital bond and what that might look like in the coming couple of years. So lots of talk on that, and we look forward to moving forward with a plan for that. Health and Wellness Committee, they have worked to finalize that SEL continuum. Again, thank you so much for your work on that. Because that document, I really proud of that, and seeing all the work we're doing. When you think about all those things and the continuum of supports in the K-12 SEL program, it really is nice to lay them out and see that, hey, we're doing a lot of really good things to support kids in their social emotional wellness. That is a high priority. It's something that the board has placed as a goal, and I think we're really hitting stride there and moving toward making some really positive changes for the kids. And I'm going to stop there. That's my guy.
Great. A lot of positive stuff happening.
Absolutely.
So, it's great to see. That leads us to questions and comments regarding tonight's agenda only. Okay. The Board of Education is asked to accept the minutes of the following meetings as prepared by the district clerk. Minutes of the budget workshop and regular meeting of the Board of Ed on April 13th, 2022. Minutes of the special meeting of the Board of Education, Eastern Suffolk BOCES budget vote and election on April 27th, 2022. Minutes of the budget hearing of the Board of Education on May 4th, 2022. Motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. Yeah.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, accepts the following financial reports. A, Internal Claims Audit Report for April 2022. Treasurer's Report, April 2022. Student Activity Treasurer's Report, January, February, March 2022. Budget Transfer, there are 3 pages.
Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 Motion carries unanimously.
Consent Agenda Approval.
Sorry.
No.
No, go, for you.
Well, quick question, that Jets donation, is that gonna be a yearly thing, or is that just a one-time?
So this year, that was a pilot, but, it was basically, we were one of 8 teams, that volunteered to be a part of this. I think it was a really, real positive. They are looking to expand that, and eventually, I think that's gonna just fold into the regular, athletic budget. Because I don't know that the Jets are gonna continue to split that on an annual basis, but we're very, excited.
What are the numbers we had for that?
I believe we had about 11 players. Do you know, Richmond?
Okay.
I believe it was 11 players.
It's fun to watch.
77, and it's exciting. So really great thing to be a part of. So, and I was, thrilled that our district was one of the districts that got started with the pilots. Good stuff.
Any more knowledge on the donation before?
We also,
That's a consent.
yeah, we also have a donation from Mrs. Little League to redo the field over in Brookfield. And they basically are going to be coming in and, redoing that entire field, kind of skinning it, putting new clay down, bringing in different companies to get that done. I think that would be certainly an enhancement.
Are they doing that themselves or bring someone in?
They're bringing somebody in. They've got
Bring one tech.
they've got some donations, but clearly they're laying out.
They did that years ago, it needs it again, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that'll be a great addition. Right now, you can't really use it for softball because there's a mound there. If they knock the mound down, my understanding is anymore it has a portable mound.
Right.
And what's great about the portable mound is, it's not that, when you have 90-foot bases, you have a mound and stuff. You don't have to, you can move it in, and the field can grow, especially when you have a clay infield and not a grass infield. It's very easy to grow the field so that you can play at the different levels. So we're really happy to accept that donation.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And thrilled that they're going to be able to provide that.
Yeah, that's great. Really appreciate it.
Be resolved, a motion to approve the consent agenda items 9A through 12B.
Motion,
Motion.
second. Discussion. I'm supposed to ask that and I keep forgetting. No, all in favor? Yes, motion carries unanimously. That brings us to general public comment, am I right?
That's
Okay. Anyone? Just waiting to speak about anything.
Something, we talked about the sports teams earlier, how they're academic teams and they're, some of them are winning in the counties and stuff like that. I think the one thing, I have an 8th grader who's playing on varsity team, and I've been watching, all different kids come around, and the way our older high school kids are embracing our younger players and cheering them on, and they just embrace them. And you've got an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old, and it's been amazing to watch these kids just take them in and mentor them. And I'm watching it on the baseball field, and I'm sitting watching the baseball game, and I'm seeing varsity lacrosse players, the 7th grade lacrosse players, and it's another thing that makes summer just so special. It's not just the academics and the actual ability of our children, it's their hearts and who they are. And I just think that, I get to watch it, I get to see it a little differently now as like a mom and involved in it. I just really can't say enough about our kids here that, they just, for me, the baseball kids, but just watching all of our kids, it's really just been, we're doing something right here. I just really appreciate that. Thank you.
That's a great comment.
I was at the game, a couple of games, and you see how that team grew this year. They're such a young team, they're gonna be good for a couple of years. Yeah, good spot.
It's really just, it's great to see boys, girls, it doesn't even matter. It's just, everybody's kind of just, it's a small, we're trying to fill all these teams, and we only have so many kids, and yet, they're making it work, and I really just really appreciate it.
Thank you, Robin. Motion to adjourn. Motion. Second, all in favor?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. The next Board of Education meeting is June 15th, 2022. And I finally got it right. Thank you, Jimmy, for highlighting that. Thank you all for coming tonight. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Finally. Yeah. I couldn't mess it up, guys.